No, I'm not on Rumble. No, Wednesday, January 20. No, it's the 17th. Just kidding. All right. Is the video connecting? Man, this is having the same thing again. Is it time? Are we working? Are we going? I'm going to just do the spiel again. Seems like it's delayed. Not the stock Rumble. I apologize for the terrible introduction, but I feel like the software is being a little funky. Can I get a mic check? 1, 2, 1, 2. I appreciate you guys. So I'll just do the ramble again. If you heard the beginning one, it was pretty bad because I was a little confused if my software is working. It's been a little OSB since the update. It's been a little with YouTube. So this is Dan Max, DXP Realty, aka the Trading Agent. This is your live market chat. Wednesday, January 17th, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hopefully you're doing great. Yeah, it's time to make money, Deanna. Hopefully you guys who've been patiently waiting, this is game time. And when I say game time, it is game time. Like the market, as we talked about, chop top. China's an issue. The U.S. is not strong. And we talked about the New York State manufacturing, minus 43.7 or 47.3. That is bad. Bad. We know a recession's coming. We know insiders are selling. I mean, I was looking at something. I wish I saved everything I saw, but it was talking about how the insiders. Let me see if it's on my YouTube channel or my twits. I mean, insiders are just absolutely dropping out fast, dumping shares. We know for a fact Mr. Zuckerberg can't sell fast enough. Yeah, general business conditions falling off. We talked about lending contracting. That's why I'm amazed that banks have held up this high. Talked about the net speculative positioning all time. Long. I mean, what could go wrong? I see people trying to get in and get out, and I'm like, man, I'm just trying to get as much short as I can when it looks like it's confirmed. So, yeah, I apologize. I don't have that, but don't need it. I'm not too worried about it. So, new to the channel, and you heard my amazing introduction. Sorry, terrible. As a licensed real estate agent in Colorado, disclosing such, I don't know if I have to. I know certain states you have to if you have a license. I'm always here to help. Let me know how I can help you. Check out the Coulling link. I'm going to drop it here. You guys always see it. If you have, let me drop it in the chat. Sorry. People are like, why does this guy sound like an idiot? Well, today I'm a little flustered. Again, I don't like when the software goes bad because then it drives like I'm scrambling. As someone who's not an IT person, that's a struggle. All right, here's the link. If you ever want to chat, here's my availability. Leave it open from about 10 to 4 every day. Hit me up. Again, whether it's real estate related or trading. I tell people, like, are you investing? Are you a real estate investor? Are you a trader? Are you thinking about starting a business as a trader? Talk to an accountant. Talk to an attorney. Like, get your stuff going. I mean, there's all sorts of things that I can share with you to help out because I think a lot of folks who get into investing in general think that real estate or trading is better than the other. Well, they have benefits. I love the tax advantages of real estate. I love hard assets. I love the idea of someone else paying my mortgage, cash flow, little mini 401ks, every single house you own. Well, as in again, you're going to make faster money trading, right? So it's velocity of money and kind of your growth. You got to be careful. And so if you have a financial advisor, I'd be willing to talk to them, but I don't need to because I know what they're going to say. Oh, you can't invest in real estate. It's speculative. You don't want to be a landlord. They'll say all the same crap. And it's like, but people don't realize if you take money out of the pool that they're managing, they make less. They have a fiduciary responsibility, depending on which brokerage is. But again, they want your money. They don't want you buying real estate. And this is where I think this is what I'm most passionate about, is getting people to realize, like, you can do both. They have different advantages. Again, if you want the tax advantages of real estate, again, depreciation, writing off everything as it goes, the expenses, I can't say, I was just thinking some funny stuff. It's top titties, I guess. I can say that. It's awesome. A little bit of everything. Again, if you're all in stocks or you're all in real estate, that's fine. But think about, I promise you right now, real estate has amazingly tremendous advantages, and it's so much easier to leverage capital. So much easier. Private money lenders. Again, I'm going to the banks right now is not ideal, but there's so many different loans out there. that people willing to work. You can create a finance, not even loans, but create a finance. All right, I'm rambling. Man, this software issue, I'm telling you folks, like as someone who's doing this by themselves, not a tech nerd, when the software gets funny, I go, oh man, what's happening? It's like IT guy from Saturday Night Live when, what's his name, was the IT guy, Jimmy Fallon. Some arrogant dork come in here and go, hey, get your software right. Thank you, sir. I'll try. All right. Fed watch. I mean, this is going to get pretty interesting every day. We know there's nothing happened in January, but just keep an eye on that, because if things fall off a cliff, I mean, you could see the change. Look at that. Wow. Markets, no cut. No wonder. I mean, again, the market cuts are good or bad. I don't really care. I just know that conditions around the world are worsening. And inflation, and this is the thing, again, I talk about this over and over and over and over. What's going on in China, I know for a fact, and again, they're not talking about this, but what's going on in China is why their economy's falling off a cliff is because, remember when they put tanks in front of banks? Remember when they tried to force people to do everything that the government wants there? I think people realize, like, they only have one source of power. You can't fight Chinese Communist Party. You can't do anything other than what? Just don't pay your government. Don't pay your debts. Just don't, like, let the banking system collapse. And I know that's the notion of people who are fighting them. They're like, we're not going to fight them. You're never going to win a one-on-one battle with the government there. You can't. But you know what you can do? Not pay your debts. Everyone together. Hey, sinking ship, don't care. I mean, if you don't have freedom, do you really have life? I can see why that would be a choice. I mean, I don't know if America's gone that far down there, but one day maybe. And then you look at what's going on in the Middle East. Shipping container rates skyrocketing, blocked transit, shipping lanes, all sorts of games and fun stuff, right? Like, I don't know that stuff for sure, but I do see the pricing on that stuff. And it's like, uh-oh. And you got Biden talking about cutting student debt. That's a stimulus. Uh-oh. The feds are just sitting here like, for the love of God, please do us all a favor. Let the market correct. It's like, nope, can't. You're addicted to stimulus. Bitcoin. I've said this, and I will go on record. I think if Bitcoin's going to rocket, and this is the thing, if you're a Bitcoin person, you're listening to your friend of mine, I'm not trying to be mean, but you can't say it's bullish until you break out over these highs. It's the same thing as gold. We pull, like, it's just big channeling trend, whatever the fudge you want to call it. Now it's up, but if the market pulls back and liquidity comes out, is it going to be immune to it? Again, if it's like every other asset, not going to happen. Oil chopping, we talk about global insecurities, whatever, global issues. It's a tight range. I think at some point we do get smoked down, but keep in mind, I don't know if the short interest is going to definitely smooth out the ability of it to probably not go as low, because again, they're going to have to get covered as shorts. But also you got the SPR refill. I think you guys know. If the price drops enough, the U.S. is going to go on a shopping spree. Natural gas, congratulations. We talked about, this is a great trade on shorting KOLD. What is that thing at today? Back around 80. Yeah, I don't know if we're going to go back to the lows, but here's the thing. The trade, to me, I think there's better trades out there. Again, if you want to go long natural gas by shorting the crappy KOLD, I'll probably lay off a Boyle. Again, I think long term, there is not much downside. GDXJ is pulling up. Sorry, a friend of mine on StockTwits was like, I'm buying here. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know about that. Again, we talked about the same thing like Bitcoin, gold. People are like, oh, it's going. I'm like, you don't know until it's gone. It's going. And every time it chops around here, it makes me more, even my spidey sense, I get that ring in my ear. I'm like, I've seen this before where liquidity comes out of the market. And what happens? They throw the baby out with the bathwater. Now, I say that very often. And again, it's not being literal. Figurative speech. No bueno. like silver. Like silver's not following. That says a lot. And look at silver, and people are like, oh, it needs to get over 23. And it's like, no, it needs to get over like 27, 28 from even to like sniff it. And it's at 20. Do the math. That's a big gap. GDX, we talked about the miners. Don't trust them. Oops. Oh, it's great. And that's where you look at the GDXJ, right? Like, does it look like people are buying miners because they think gold's going higher? Can someone answer this question while I sip on a drink, on my peach drink? Obviously, there's no alcohol in it. It's a, what is it, a Zoa? You guys ever, it's sponsored by Zoa. No, cool energy drinks. You know what I mean? Like, why would, if gold's breaking out, just kind of like MicroStrategy following, you know, Bitcoin, like leading Bitcoin. Like, if gold prices are seriously going higher, then why the hell are the miners just getting beaten to shiznit? And again, as someone who knows this stuff, traded gold for, feels like forever. Forever, never seems so long. If you know that Outcast lyric. Copyright issue. Channel over. Yeah, it doesn't look right. Remember, the leveraged names lead the commodity. That's always been the case. Now, again, very rarely does that not happen, but that's usually how it plays out, folks. So, no one's responding on gold. You got Joseph here. Howdy, hi. COVID kicked my, oh man, sorry to hear that, brother. IWM leading down. Yes, I've been talking about that in the daily market reviews. The IWM not looking so hot. And that's where people are like, oh, I'm trading, I'm going to buy and sell and overtrade the SPY and the Q. And I'm like, in the financial, I'm like, you better be careful. 20-day. Q, 20-day. Now, we talked about this. Now, I know this little formation here doesn't line up perfectly, but this is what we thought. Like, here's the top, and chop, 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 chop. Here you go. Like, middle of January, we talked about, go look at my notes in the Discord room. There is a value to them. People print them, put them on your wall. Yeah, chop, chop, chop. Now, again, I don't know if we're going to get bludgeoned, but what's going on in China? Contagion at some point. Just my honest opinion. So, be careful. Any other thoughts? Again, please feel free to interrupt because I'm just going to jam through this stuff. TLT. We talked about the 9,900 area. Well, I'm going to give myself credit here because we talked about the downside limited near term. It's like, I think this day was the highest volume day ever on the TLT. We saw this day and I was like, keep an eye on it because you didn't break any moving averages. You just pulled back. Zinger, right? Then you run up to the highs. It's like, man, are bonds a buy here? I don't know. I'm not trading bonds, but in my opinion, when the rates go higher, the market doesn't like it. But if the rates go screaming lower, that means there's some problems. Dollar holding up, right? This is where it's again, keep in mind, remember, ex-div, $1.70 would have put you at the 200. We'd be crossing over the 100-day and climbing. We'd be probably filling this gap at 29.16 in 2020. Doesn't look bearish. The VIX. But it's OPEX. Doesn't the VIX have to go down? Nah, not necessarily. Not if everyone's long calls. Remember we talked about the speculative positioning. Everyone's long. Wakey. Remember the VIXen? Sorry, the VIVIX? Remember this move? We said, watch out. It's like, look at this. Holy Batman. Zing. Somebody was just aggressively buying the volatility of the VIX. That's a good trade for them. Yeah, gold, silver, XOP. Check this out. Check it out. Uh-oh. Talked about Exelon Motors. Exelon Mobil. I don't know. It's like Exelon. I like saying that and slurring my words. Uh-oh. You better hold, player. Solar, I've basically branded this just a turd. We talked about needing some bounces. You got it. First Solar, if you took the short on this, leave a message below. It's kind of, I don't know. I was just looking at that earlier. I forgot to draw it, but I don't know. break the trend. Game over. HYG said, how in the world, how dumb do you got to be to buy corporate debt going into a recession? And again, the feds, can someone please raise their hand and tell me when the last time they navigated a soft landing? Hopefully I'm not sitting here waiting for that answer, because the answer is not in my lifetime. Not in many people's lifetimes. Clowns running the insane asylum as normal. Oh, look at that oil bouncing. Uh-oh. Just curious, real quick, again, if you're new to the channel, appreciate all the love, support. Got the Fed, obviously the beige book. Yeah, we know what's going on with Boeing. David Boeing. Just checking to see if there's anything in the news, because, I mean, not that the market is at the low of the days, but I honestly thought we'd be not holding up better, but you know, like, you can't even get, NVIDIA is trying to carry the load. It's trying. It's really trying. Yep. And we talked about this kind of stuff. I'm seeing this within the banks. Credit performance and borrowers' liquidity. Retro, raggy. Trying to think if there's anything else in here. Germany. Yeah, Germany's falling off a cliff. I mean, it's just, you know, and again, I don't like to make fun of people, but I got some really newer folks hit me up about trading, like, hey, I got my Roth IRAs and my IRA set up. I want to go and buy the market. And I'm like, you do what? You want to do what? Don't do it. AMD. I think the top is in. I really do. Buddy passes, novice gap, big green bar, high volume. Jam it with stops. NVIDIA. You've got references. Again, I mean, these are risky. Consult with your financial advisor. Define your risk. But man, these look really damn juicy. Backside of a trend line, like it's been, like, look at this thing. Look, how many points is it? How many times is it touched? So there's a start. One was the breakdown point, then the rally back point, rally back point, rally back point. Good old Apple. It's trying to hold the 200-day for dear life. Again, reloading, I guess the indicators to go lower, whatever. Meta, like this one, we talked about being a blow off. It's rallying back, took a little, trading around it here and there. I mean, Zuckerberg can't sell fast enough. When's the next report that he dropped a couple $100 million in shares and dumping? That's what I mean. It feels like it's a matter of if, not when. MicroStrategy, we talked about Bitcoin, something. Michael Saylor, selling shares, smart. I mean, it just can't, I don't know. This doesn't look good. Roblox. How about them apples, right? We talked about, like, again, like, this is a tough. Every time it hits that 46, 47, MU at the 20-day. I'll interrupt. Joe's got 20. Oh, yeah, I mean, I think this is. Keep in mind, Taiwan Semi has earnings, I think, tomorrow. I'm shorted. I've got longer dated puts on this thing. I mean, I'm not that concerned. If it rallies more, I will gladly short more. I think this is the short of the century, of this year, maybe. Because I think China's coming for them. Keep an eye on it, compressing. Again, any pop, in my opinion, is an absolute easy trade. Tesla, I'm amazed. I mean, I'm amazed at how bad this thing's been acting. I mean, it's that massive trend. I don't know. Again, if you could draw out a box within a box, like this 208 to 215 area, if it doesn't hold, the SMH, again, I think this is the bomber. I think that's a easy, again, people, if I'm wrong, people will be like, you told people to do it. I'm like, yeah. And I said, define your stop. And it's like literally the easiest trade with stops. So easy. So effing easy. Keep in mind, right? Keep in mind. Keep in mind. Keep in mind. Intel, this thing's been dogging. Rough. I'm impressed, though, that the semis are trying to come back. FedEx, what did we say? Watch the 200-day, retro. Airbnb, 20-day fail, watch the 100-day. next. Seems to be holding. So far, so good. Costco, again, I'm amazed that, again, the China released like their 8th store. Keep an eye on that. Starbucks, I mean, again, there's some green days peppered in there, but it's just stair-stepping down. Caterpillar finally starting to crack, right? Look at that gap. Uh-oh. Missed that one, but more confirmation. CF, again, I love ag names. I just don't love them now. AA catching it, the bullet down. XLF, man, we got really, really close to the 20-day. Said this morning, anything is a gift. I mean, this is done. Toast. KRE leads, right? Like the juniors. Look at this. You telling me the KRE looks good? JP Mo. If that's not the blow off, I mean, good God. You said the 20-day. You got it there. Filled the gap. Ooh, not going to hold. Morgan Stanley looks like it's just heading south for the winter. Bank of America heading south for the winter. Goldman Sachs, nice little pop on earnings. Give it up to me. Look at this, right? I mean, you could be watching this like a fucking hawk. You break this, you got the gap, 362. I don't know, 346. I mean, this thing could just open the door. You know, think of a Hodor from Game of Thrones. Hodor, hold the door. XBI, yeah, fail at resistance. I mean, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I'm just trying to, like, people, like, you got to be patient. Sometimes these trades don't go exactly when you want them to go, and some names acted like worse. This is the thing that was very obvious, is that some sectors were acting like poop. But what was the reality, right? Just a matter of when, in my opinion. It's hard. Oh, I'm going to go long at the highs? No. Absolutely not. No, the risk reward. I mean, it's IWM showed you. Spy Guy showed you. Any questions, thoughts, concerns? I mean, I could wrap this up right now, put a bow on it, and just be done with it. Just be done with it. Now, I'm not saying that we can't be a little volatile into OPEX, but man, to think that this is the bottom, wow, I struggle with that one. Sorry, I got to sneeze. Hold on. Good night. Thank you. No one said good night. That was me talking to myself. Any questions, thoughts, concerns? I mean, you got earnings this week. What's the rest of the week docket looking like? It's more like you got housing starts, building permits, Philly Fed tomorrow, TSM, existing home sales. So you got some like housing stuff. And don't be surprised if the housing stuff comes in a little better. Because I will say that when rates drop from about 8% down to 5 and change, depending on what kind of loan it was, you definitely saw some people like rushing in to try to buy because you had some pent up demand. Think about it. Like when rates were up there for, you know, I don't know. Let's look at the TLT because it's a really good indicator. Like think about it. So from about October to November, and as the rates were going higher, people were like, oh, I'm out. So you had, I don't know, I'd say probably 4 or 5 months worth of pent up buyers that as soon as the rates went lower, they're like, I got to get it. I got to get it. And they got it. So I wouldn't be surprised. And that's the thing. It's like, oops. It's like, hey, feds, guess what? What's that? Oops. Housing's not slowing down. Oops. So, I don't know. You guys know. You know what's up. Meaning, be careful. Sorry, I'm just looking at something. Was a cootie? Yeah. All right. Anyone have any thoughts, questions, concerns? I know a lot of people catch up to these after the kind of, again, I know you're listening for the comedy. Or the voices. You want me to do the voices? Again, I love seeing Taiwan semi rise. Oh, man. Going out of town tomorrow. Just fair warning. Absolute fair warning. I will be, again, I'm not going to say beer in hand for the next 2 market days and the weekend. I will say I will be relaxing in Delray Beach with some buddies. Haven't taken a vacation. If you guys know, I've been dealing with all sorts of fun stuff in my personal life. And yeah, I need a little, again, I go up to the ski hill rather often and go do little trips to Steamboat and Summit County, but I'm going to Florida. If you want to meet me in Florida, I'm just kidding. If you are in Florida, hit me up. Say hi, because I will be probably, again, I'm not much of a drinker. I'll be hanging out. Again, I'm not, alcohol to me, it's just, ugh. I mean, I'm not going to say that you personally shouldn't drink. That's, do whatever you want. Because people might get mad at me. They're like, oh, I know you'll eat an edible every once in a while. I'm like, yeah, just like you'll have a glass of wine. Nothing wrong with that. This is Colorado, legal. Not in every state, but man, dude, the freaking CBD gummies. Anyone have any experience with those things? They're amazing. Again, I'm not addicted to painkillers or anything, but imagine being a little inebriated, like relaxed with a little, I don't know. I'd say it's like, I don't know. It's like a good mix. It's like having a glass of wine and a quarter of a pain pill. And again, I'm not into taking all that stuff, but I can imagine, I mean, in my younger days, I'm not going to sit here and try to talk on my high horse like I've been pure my whole life. No. You guys, everyone in this channel remembers what it's like to be a teenager. That's what I would say. It's a nice little relaxation. Wind off the day. And I don't think a lot of people realize, like, I'm sitting here with 8 screens. My eyes just, I mean, again, my eyes are fine, but I get like little headaches from just staring, watching, listening. So I'm just going to rip through some channels. I mean, again, I want to give more time because I'm going to be out of town. And so let's just do this. Look at the transports. Retro Raggy. Housing. Did I not say this? Like, that was a gift up there. I'm sorry. Retail. I mean, this thing's been gone. Just gone. They're going to November. GBTC. Isn't that the Bitcoin? Look at that. And again, I get my Bitcoin friends. I'm telling you guys, somebody was unloading. But it's bullish. I'm like, that candle, what? I mean, that's like the definition of like a fucking top. Excuse my language. Like, look at the volume. Look at the volume. How far do we have to go back to find a bar that big? Never. Never, ever, ever. Oh, but it was just light selling. It was the light breeze of selling. Meh. What? Again, I don't know if Bitcoin's breaking out or not, but man, that doesn't look good. Not to get political, but what do you think politics will affect this year's returns? Deanna, that's a great question, and it does not have to be political. I don't know about you guys, but it feels like this year's political season. Imagine every other cycle before now was like calm. This year is going to be nuts. Again, I don't know if there's going to be a civil war, but I mean, I live in a state where we've already removed Trump from the ballot. Based on what? Again, I don't read the details. I don't care. I mean, I just don't care. If he's not on the ballot, he's not on the ballot. I'm not going to be the one to fight the battle. But you're basically dividing the country instantaneously by saying one party's representative is A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Because I'm not again, I don't want to be political, Deanna. You know what I'm saying? Like, can we not look at the Biden family and go, they don't seem so squeaky clean. And then we can look at Trump and go, he's kind of not the perfect person as well. So are we going to, are we going to have to have the Pope and some nuns run for president? Like, do we need, it's like, no, that ain't happening. That ain't happening. So let's just call it what it is, right? Let's just call it. Man, that looks like a big doji, big volume. So I personally think this year is going to be absolutely freaking nuts. Yeah. And again, and people are like, oh, you're a Trump supporter. I don't look at support versus, I think the ideas. Again, I think when he was president, he could have done a lot better, but just put America first. I don't want to vote for a candidate that's going to send all our money to Ukraine and send our money to all these wars, man. I'm sorry if that hurts people on the left side, but that's what your party has literally, it's like the old Republicans and the new Democrats are like the same, like they morph together. Endless war, like Team America World Police. And it's like, man, anyone who knows me knows, like, it's like two flavors of shit ice cream. Both parties suck. I don't like either one. But for the love of God, like, can we please not be policing the world and putting our troops, friends, family members at risk for what? For what? Oh, you got to protect the world. And it's like, no, we're the ones creating the issues. We're literally escalating issues everywhere. And what is the U.S. really good at doing? Brokering peace if we so get involved. It's like we show up with the big hammer and you say, you guys need to get in line or we're going to start bopping people. No. Sorry I get on that tangent, but again, I wish we could all agree as one country. You need to have a form of ID to vote. I think you need a form of ID for everything. So simple as that. So we know who's voting in our elections. Second, we don't need to put any other countries ahead of ourselves. We need to secure our border. I'm sorry, letting people across without any systems for knowing who's coming and going in the South, that seems dumb. Nowhere else in the world can you just come into a country. And again, people are like, well, it's a left and a right. I'm like, no, it's not. Go to any country around the world. You can't just immigrate because you want to be a British citizen. You can't go to freaking Greece and say, I just want to be a Greece citizen. You can't go to anywhere in the world. It doesn't work like that. And then last but not least, like, why do we need to be the world police? Can't we be the brokers of peace? Can't we get people to sit down, come together? Man, is this a left or a right issue? I leave a comment below. I hope it's not. I really hope it's not. I'm like, this isn't political. This is like common sense stuff. Oh, but what about all the people who want to immigrate here and get away from their places that are terrible? And it's like, get in line like everyone else. Everyone else wants to get here. Like, it's amazing. Like, the first thing you do is let someone break the laws to come to our country. Like, that doesn't make sense. I don't know. Maybe people think I'm crazy to think that. But I sit here and I like common sense. If you've ever been anywhere else in the world, you know. Oh, that might be me. I'm drinking a glass with some water that has ice in it. Well, actually, it's Zoa. If that's the popping sound you hear, it's me swirling ice. So, man, I don't know. I appreciate you bringing up this topic because it is real. Like, no matter what, like, I look at people on the left and the right, like, guys, we're still family first. We're still Americans. All together, we are one. We have no power divided. Zero. So just keep that in mind. Love your brothers, your sisters, people of different whatever. Because everyone has an opinion. You're entitled to an opinion, but you're not entitled to your own facts. And that's the thing that's worth hashing out. Because anybody who would tell me that open borders are good for the country, I would argue that's not true. You don't know who you're letting in. How many criminals come through? Cartel members. Who knows? Terrorists. I don't know. Again, I have no problem with people coming here legally. I don't mind at all. But that shit bothers me. Because I know of people who've had family members, friends of family members, whatever, hurt by people that came here just to commit crimes, rob, steal. Don't give a shiznit. It's like they got here and nothing happened to them. Yeah, it's like leaving the door to your house unlocked and just let anyone wander in. Who does that? Exactly, nobody. When I go out of town, I have cameras all over my property. I have multiple locking systems. I mean, it's just, again, that's just the nature of it. Why would I not do that? If you want to get into my house, I need to know who you are. That's all. I'm not going to assume you're here to rob me, but it'd be nice to know. I mean, look at it. Like, as a real estate agent, this is what's hilarious. I'll host an open house every once in a while. You have to come and you have to write in your name, and I need to know who you are when you come in for the protection of the seller's house. And if you're an agent, you need to give me your card so that if anything ever happens, I know who held accountable for something being taken, broken, misplaced. It's just common sense. Why are we talking about this? It'd be trading. It's like, why is this like not even like so obvious? Anyway, somebody's probably like, oh, you're an idiot. XLF. Anyone else agree that financials are about to get bombed? And I'm talking not like snow bombed, but I mean like the stocks are going to get burned, bombed. Again, I'm passionate about these topics because, again, we need to be able to talk about them as a country and not alienate each other for different opinions. I should be able to ask you a question of why you believe that it's okay to have an open border. And just like I should be able to tell you why I don't think so, and you listen. And you can tell me what you think. It shouldn't be a problem. It shouldn't be alienating people for different beliefs. Understand how, why, what. And that's why the politicians get away with this crap, is because they go, well, I'll just pander to the extremes of our parties. Don't do it. Don't do it. People yell and scream and cry the loudest. Barf. Barf, 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 barf. Yeah, any questions? I mean, I feel like it's just a matter of not if when. Like when this, again, I mean, January, I wouldn't be surprised. Some point, SPY sees that 460 level. Then maybe we bounce again. But here's the thing. Like, remember, this was like a clean, because look at the VIX, what it did. Check it out. Check. Like, the VIX, like, had this, like, slow bounce, right? We got up to, like, 22. It's crazy to think, right? Look at it. 22. Deanna, agree. If the VIX gets to 40, I mean, the SPY's got terminal velocity to go right back down to the 400 level with not even not even a question. And then maybe a bounce. And again, you could have a quick VIX spike, a rally back for a couple weeks or months, very similar to here. Let's go check out the weekly, y'all. I wouldn't say necessarily like the COVID crash. Let's go back in time. Back in the days. Here's what I mean. Like, you go like, boom, 150, 120, rally back, March, kapow. Kelly Kapowski. Or here, I mean, let's go back to the tech bubbles. Yeah, Apple's earnings are definitely gonna be crap. Here you go. This is what we could be in this. But here you go, right? Like, what are we looking at? 19. Oh, hey, live chat. This is kind of what I'm thinking. 1974. Just move this to here. What is this? Oh, yeah, my Facebook account got canceled. Screw you, Meta. Here you go. Oh, here's a picture of me. 5 years ago. This is what I'm thinking. Big drop, chop for a couple weeks. Because here might be like into the pivot. Yeah, Apple craptastic. Look at that fish. That was a pretty brown. You're like, what are you doing, Dan? Just clicking on some things. Sponsored by. No, just kidding. Okay. Yeah. AMD new 52-week highs. Oh yeah, look at that. Oh man. Okay. Well, I put in some orders earlier. I know they got filled. I was gonna wait again because it's. Pretend this is like a 10-minute chart, right? Like you wouldn't go all in on one 10-minute chart. You'd want to see some like pause and play. So again, I told people like longer dated puts, cheapies. I think I bought like the 150s, like mid-Feb. Can't remember, $4 or $5 or whatever it was. Again, the implied volatility is incredibly high. It's almost like they know. They know too much. Let's go look at the AMD 10-minute. Oh, thank you. Yeah, look at that wick. Wicker basket. What's interesting, again, as we talk about, you're saying new highs. Look at the intraday after hours action too, though, right? You got references. This is why I always tell people, like, I like the intraday action and post-market action charting on in like 10-minute charts. Like I'll flip in and out of it because sometimes you'll see. And again, credit to Justin Pulitzer if he's listening. Like Pulitzer Prize, that guy, Justin's last name. He was one of the first people that really made me really like look at that. Like, interesting. If you go look at some of the actual post-market action and spots, it's like the sellers are still there. It's just you don't know that because if you just go to a daily chart, you didn't see what happened after hours. And remember, daily chart, 6.5 hours. That's all it is. I'm not saying go trade after hours by any means, but because liquidity is just, look at this. It sounded probably awkward. Thank you, Joe, for posting that. Any other thoughts, questions, concerns? I mean, hold on. You like comedy, right? Everybody loves comedy. Anyone have a guess what AMD's price to earnings ratio is right now? Anyone want to take a guess? Anyone want to take a guess? Just throw a number out there. Take a guess. Give it 20 seconds. Too much? That's you're starting off in the right direction. Too much. What's too much? What is too much? Take a guess. Take a wild guess. Again, I like some longer dated puts. Again, if you lose $1 or $2 and you want to stop out, great. That's what you got to do. But I think there's some, I don't know, this thing could be fast. And I'm going to Florida, so I won't be watching it like a hawk. I mean, maybe it could get up to 170. I don't know. Anyone have a guess what too much is? Let's just say it's higher than this. Okay, let's go. Let's go. Any final answers? Nope, that is 1,458.25. Now, of course, they're anticipating earnings to grow, so that is not a typo. And again, I don't know what the exact number is off the top of my head. I know it's 1,000 something. And again, their earnings per share should grow, you hope. I mean, the literally pinned out. I like the intrinsic value of NVIDIA. Yeah. The market cap is now 260 million. You're paying 1,458.25. And again, this number is not exact. Don't worry about it as it fluctuates. times earnings. Now, again, earnings should increase. But does anyone remember the last time we saw a big tech stock with a PE in the 1000s? Anyone want to take a guess? Anyone, please? Again, I love all the... Yeah, I was watching this. Anyone want to talk? Anyone have a guess? What's the last tech stock that we remember very clearly? No, not even in the 2000s. I'm talking about like 2021. Big tech stock that had a PE thousands of plus. Anyone remember? If you need a hint, ask for it. Let's just say he owns X. Tesla. Exactly. Ooh. So at 260 billion, I think they're too big to be a buyout target now. So I'm not too concerned about that. Right? So Rutro Raggy. Retro Raggy. And again, here we go. Gets up into the highs, the volume starts increasing, and now it's getting tired. Keep an eye on it. Again, maybe it does. I'm sitting here, Eric and I, we kind of coined that term, not publicly. It's kind of already known, like the buddy pass. Like it's going skiing, like, hey, get your buddy a free pass. But brokerages do that. They literally buddy pass the shit out of stocks where it's like, hey, man, we got a bunch of shares doing low. Can you upgrade it at the highs? Sure thing, bud. So that's the buddy pass. Be careful. That's all I can say. I mean, QQQ is trying to rally here. It's interesting. You got some names. Whoa, NVIDIA. Holy shiz. Let's pull that one up. Shiz. Lower highs. I'd be curious. Again, I'm not a big fundamentalist. Someone's like, are you a terrorist? Durka. Yeah, holy shit. I mean, I think it's higher than that, but I didn't realize this thing was worth 1.4 trillion. Fair value. Get the fudge out of here. Let's go look at the statistics. Profit margin, yeah, we know that. Return on equity, yeah. That's sustainable. Yeah, AMD had 3 upgrades last week, or not last week, yesterday. Okay, bud. Okay, yeah. All right. I mean, I'm scared to. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but like watching AMD. Again, I'm being disciplined, meaning like I can't say for sure today's the high. I can't. But I can have a high probability that if today's the high, great, I can add later. But I mean, like one of the systems I try to implement is like you don't go all in at one spot. The only day that I think you could, like, only really candle is that JP Morgan one. And so this is where I'm curious to watch the days, but will anyone be surprised if literally as we talk that this candle is the peak, the pivot intraday for the AM Dizzle? AMD, these nuts. Anyone going to be surprised? It's like, oh, here, let's rally. And again, it's like, let's rally it. Uh-oh. All right, this has been going on for 50 minutes. This nonsense. The chicanery. But, no, I wouldn't be surprised either. But I also wouldn't be surprised if, they say tomorrow, upgrade, and this is the thing. This is why it's so hard when these, like, runaway gaps at highs and lows is like, everybody and their other mom has to come out and go, oh shit, we only had a price target of 125 on NVIDIA or AMD. Okay, they're all sitting around going, we got shares to sell. What price do we want to put? 200, 250. 170. Just, I mean, it's like, all right, throw a random number generator and just pick a freaking price target higher than what it's at now and go, we go upgrade to strong buy. Y'all really know how this works. It's like churning sausage. You know, it's like, it just make you sick. You're like, you'd be like, is this real? Is this how they do it? Yes. Think about it. If you're a brokerage, and I'll end it on this. If you're a brokerage that recommends AMD stock and has coverage of it, and you've been neutral or you've been strong buy with like a target of 130, you're sitting here scrambling going, oh shit, what do we do? And of course they're not going to say it's a sell at the highs. No. It's never a sell at the highs. Don't ever take profits. No. We don't do that. Brokerages never tell you to sell the highs because they got to get out first. Don't ever let that be confused by that. I don't know. Did you guys see where Goldman was like betting against all of their clients? No wonder they had a decent little quarter. Good job, guys. Wow, mind-boggling. But anyway, back to what I was going to say is that don't be surprised that like the highs that they have to scramble to catch up and they go, well, I don't know, what's the value? And they're like looking at the PE and they're looking at the multiples and they're like, I don't know, just pull a number out. They're all like scrambling as it keeps rising higher and higher and higher. And that's where you see on Tuesday, as Eric pointed out, 3 upgrades yesterday. They're all sitting there going, fudge, bro. What? Just curious. Let's just go. Give me 2 seconds. What were the AM Dizzle? I was out of line. Okay, cool, whatever. Who gives a crap about that? What were the 3 upgrades yesterday? What were the price targets? It's probably easier just to... Here you go. This is what I mean. We had price targets of 130, 170. Oh God, it's going higher. Excuse me. Gotta upgrade it. The highs. Got to. Right? Maybe we need a JP Morgan. Maybe we got some, here we go. We got some more guys that could come in here and just do it too. That's where I'm hesitant to say today is 1,000% the high, because you have these same idiots, JP Morgan, B of A, Citi, what was that, Wolf? I was like, woke research. I'm like, oh, hell yeah, woke research? How funny is that? That might have to come out and reiterate, strong buy. Oops. Trading. If it was certainty only, it'd be easy. It would be so easy. All right. Any other questions, thoughts, concerns? Again, I'm here for you. If you want to talk. And again, please don't hesitate to reach out. Some people I've been able to call when I'm not busy. And again, when the trend isn't our friend and there's nothing to do, I'm either doing real estate or I'll call you guys, some of y'all in the Discord room. But hit me up. I mean, again, don't be shy. Do not be shy. Because, again, if you have a question, maybe I can paint a picture for you to help you with your thinking. Because here's the thing. I'll end it on this. The psychology of trading is pretty hard, right? Knowing exactly when something's going to happen. How can you mitigate your risk? How can you trade the markets? How can you feel comfortable, right? That's the goal here. And again, it's not about comfort to be like lazy, but like, again, do you need to be crazy all in all the time or doing things that are like very risky? Please don't. But again, if you short the XLF up here, it's like you didn't buy like FAZ calls like next week out. Like that would be silly. We talked about like if you were buying FAS, I was buying puts out into February at least. Now they're all in the money so far. So for good, I think I got some like 84, 85s. Looking good. I don't think I'm up a ton on them because of the decay on it, but it's like I think I'm up $1 or $2. I can't remember. Remember, the puts on levered ETFs are not cheap. They're not cheap. And so just don't hesitate. Because again, networking too, I love talking to people. And if you have a specialty in something, What if I have a client, a friend, a family member, somebody I know that's like, hey, oh, you design websites. Oh, that's cool. Let me get your information. And if I know someone ever needs one, which I do, I know people, I need help with websites. Or say you have a business and you want to share something. I have no problem sharing friends, family, people's businesses, ideas. Because I'm going to start doing more of this stuff where I talk about and interview creative finance people who can show you how to use hard money loans, private money loans, raise capital. Like, those are the connections I'm building when I'm rebuilding my website. I'm having like a whole page on this stuff of people that I use, recommend for me, my investors. Because my goal this year is to buy 4 properties and put very little down. They're like, what are you going to do that? Other people's money, OPM. All right. I will talk to you guys and gals later. Again, please don't be shy. Holler at ya, boy. Peace.